Hi, I'm Jay Levine. You're watching Taped with Rabbi Doug.
Gonna watch Rabbi Doug on the TV tonight.
Forget about the network programs. Forget about all the great cable shows. There's only one thing for me on Mondays and Tuesday nights. Rabbi Doug.
We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna watch Rabbi Doug. Yeah, we're gonna watch Rabbi Doug on your TV tonight.
Shalom and welcome to Taped with Rabbi Doug. We're here at Central Synagogue in Highland Park, Illinois for an evening of unity and healing, Highland Park strong, of the community coming together after the tragedy of the July 4th shooting at the Independence Day Parade, and so many people who are still injured. 7 people lost their lives, of course, during this tragic shooting. And this gathering here at Central Synagogue, which is also being live streamed on Chabad.org, is sort of a way of healing for those here who have been traumatized by this terrible event. Stay with us here for this very important evening on Taped with Rabbi Doug.
We have gathered here this evening as friends, as neighbors, as community, and as family. I'd like to thank the many people who mobilized the urgency necessary to create this honorable event. We have gathered here together to grapple with this unimaginable nightmare. We come together to connect, to support, and to strengthen each other. We come together to pray, to find comfort, solace, and inspiration. The city of Highland Park has always been known as a lovely place to live and raise a family, where neighbors are friendly, children play. We ask the Highland Park City Councilman, Mr. Adam Stolberg, who is here, followed by Councilwoman Annette Widower, to share a few words.
Thank you. Everybody hear me okay? Thank you for having me here tonight. It is my honor. The events of July 4th will change this community forever. I've lived here since I was 8 years old, and never in a million years would we believe this could happen here. We would say not in our hometown, not in Highland Park, and it did happen here. As my Bubby would say, Shama, beyond Shama. I am proud to serve on the City Council on a daily basis. The events that happened on July 4th make me proud to be a part of a team on a whole different level. Our City Council, our city staff, and most importantly, our first responders. They are the heroes. They saved lives that day. Unfortunately, we sit here with second candles for those whose lives they were unable to save. I've had the opportunity to work with many, many people over the years, and the way that our city, our first responders, colleagues, our city staff, Bob, our elected higher officials, you guys are truly all amazing. We came together as a community. And we will come back stronger. This event will not change our way of life. We will have parades again. We will have our traditions. We will let children come to these parades on bicycles and leashing their dogs and walk down Central Street without fear. We will make that happen. No other way around it. As the grandson of Holocaust survivors, I was always brought up, never forget, and it can never happen again. I assure you that our council, our staff, first responders, our elected officials, we won't forget. I won't turn this into politics, but we're better than this as a country. We need to make changes. We need to make sure that these killing machines that are designed for one purpose, and that is to mow down as many people as possible in as short a time as possible, get off our streets. Thank everybody for the chance to be here tonight. I wish it was under better circumstances. And as I said earlier, we will absolutely, as a community, come back stronger than before. We have no choice. So thank you.
4 days ago, I was in Israel, and I was boarding a plane to come back here because the 4th of July parade is something that is so important to the fabric of Highland Park. And I didn't want to miss that because as a city council member, I think it's important that we all come together, whether it's any type of citizenry at all. But I have to say, it was hard to leave Israel. First of all, I had to leave my son. I had to leave my family. I don't see them much. With COVID, I didn't see them at all. And so it was really a sacrifice to come back, but it was a sacrifice that I was excited about because I know the good of this community. And I have to tell you, what impressed me most about being back in Israel was the vibrancy that I always feel there, and the way people are outside and they're going about their lives, and life goes on. And if there's one thing I could have never imagined coming back to, it was coming back to this situation, which I've seen and which we all know exists in Israel, we don't think about in our community. Unfortunately, we do think about it in our country. But I have to tell you, the only thing more shocking than comparing us to Israel, because to me, since they're both the loves of my life, it's not a quantity. But what does surprise me is that I would think of saying things like Sandy Hook, Columbine, Old Bay, and all the other communities, the Pittsburgh Synagogue, the Boston Marathon, and Highland Park, Illinois, in the same sentence. And that's what breaks my heart about all of this. So that's the past. And we are going to grieve and we are going to grow, but as a community, we are going to come out of this still stronger. So I'm going to go to the prepared notes, which is that it's hard to believe that it's 3 days now. So 4 days since I was in Israel, but 3 days since this tragic event and the series of this past Monday. Our community had gathered in joy, only to be overwhelmed by an unfathomable act of violence. 7 families are grieving losses, and we in the community of Highland Park, their friends, their neighbors, their loved ones, we grieve alongside them. The nation and the world is grieving with us. I have never seen such an outpouring of support. My texts and emails were not just from Highland Parkers, they were from Israelis, they were from all over the world. Because people couldn't believe that I have to go back for a little parade, but it's our community parade. And the next thing they know, they're all reading about our parade. And they're not reading about it in the way we want it to be. And it's never going to be like this again, and there will be another parade. And if 5 people only have the courage to come next year, that's okay. Because the next year there'll be 10 people and 20, and I don't care what it takes. I am marching the parade again next year. Because if we don't do this, they win. And we have to tell people that we are a tight community, we care about one another, and life goes on. And we're going to bring that back with vengeance. And with vengeance that really matters. I'm going to read the 7 names of the people that were going to let campus for a little bit. Because in the city, the one thing the staff said to me, please, whatever you do tonight, please make sure everyone hears their names and remembers them. Because to them, to us, it's all community and family. And we need to remember that. Catherine Goldstein, 64 of Highland Park. Irina McCarthy, 35 of Highland Park. Kevin McCarthy, 37 of Highland Park. Jacqueline Sundine, 63 of Highland Park. Stephen Strauss, 88 of Highland Park. Nicholas Toledo, Zaragoza, 78 of Morales, Mexico, and Highland Park. Eduardo Ubaldo, 69 of Waukegan. We will forever remember these innocent victims murdered by gun violence. May their memory be for a blessing. Each day we move forward together, one community in solidarity. Each day buoyed by the collective spirit of resolve and purpose evident throughout our steadfast home. No single action will heal us, but many small steps taken together as a community will help. We are Highland Park strong.
Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam. Jewish tradition calls for the lighting of candles to memorialize those who have passed. A response of encouragement and inspiration when a lamp has been extinguished. We have assembled 7 darkness-defying lights representing the 7 victims of the shooting on July 4th. It is our message of hope, our commitment to life, our determination to transform the world from darkness to light. Before the Kil Malay Memorial Prayer, led by cantor Dr. Marlon Kleinman, we will invite 7 people to light 7 candles for the 7 individuals who have been taken from us last Monday. Rabbi Hertz, the Bardas Rabanash. Rabbi Meltik, Rabbi of the Russian-speaking Jewish community.
Lighting of the 7 candles in the birth of 7 victims. Highland Park. Please gather in Central Synagogue in Highland Park.
Rabbi Shai Harel, pillar of this community. When there is danger, it is our instinct to run away. But there is a distinct group of heroes who disregard their own safety and run towards the carnage to protect everybody else, to protect the safety of everybody else. So now we have the honor, we honor the brave men and women of the Highland Park Police Department, the Highland Park Fire Department, the emergency medical technicians, the doctors, the nurses of the emergency rooms, and all these brave people who step up at these moments. I'd like to call upon our fire chief, Joe Schrade, to come light a candle. State Representative Bob Morgan, please come back to the podium. Mrs. Dina Walbert, representing Abadi Glencoe. And Mrs. Dr. Debbie Skolnick, a pillar of the community. Please rise.
We call upon the longest-serving rabbi in Highland Park, Rabbi Yossi Shanowitz, to deliver words of inspiration.
Honored rabbis, honored dignitaries, honored assembly, honored shluchim, Chabad emissaries, among others, who have expressed their unwavering support during the last few days, and whose prayers have brought healing and solace to the victims, their families, and the community. One of the victims, Leila Rachel Bat Dina Himya, who suffered a gun gunshot in her legs, and whom I visited, first in the emergency room and later in the hospital, shared with me how she had just recently finished reading Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. And that book has been a great source of help to her. I thought I would spend the next few minutes telling a Chabad story about Viktor Frankl, both in her honor, the honor of Leah Rachel Fatina Henya, in honor of all the other victims, and in the honor of all of us here and elsewhere. We now go into the informal part of the program. The first Chabad rabbi in Vienna, Austria, is a man by the name of Abraham Biederman. He's been there since the early 80s, and several years later, 1995 to be exact, he was told by his secretary that there's a woman outside who would like to see him. The woman comes in, elderly woman, and she says to him, Rabbi Biederman, do you think you are the first emissary of Chabad in Austria, in Vienna? I came to tell you that your assumption until now is incorrect. I am the first emissary of Chabad in Vienna. She introduced herself as Margarita Pius. She was raised in Vienna. She made it to the United States just before the Holocaust on one of the last vessels. And it was around 1959 that she met the Rebbe, the leader of the Chabad movement, the last leader, last Rebbe. She was an opera singer, only to women, just kidding. And she expressed her life story to the Rebbe, and she also shared with the Rebbe that from time to time she does travel to Vienna. The Rebbe asked her if she could do him a favor. The next time she would be in Vienna, the Rebbe asked her, please try and visit Viktor Frankl, Professor Viktor Frankl, Dr. Viktor Frankl. Give him my regards and tell him that I urge him not to despair. I urge him to continue his path with resolve. I believe he will be successful. I wish him to be strong. And I wish God's blessings to him. Margarita had never had contact with Dr. Frankl. She came to Vienna. She decided that she was going to look up his address and try to meet him at home. Dr. Frankl came to the door. He seemed to be a little withdrawn, a little dejected, a little depressed. And Margarita Pius said to him, I'm visiting from the States, the United States of America. I was raised in Vienna, and I come here from time to time. But the reason I came to your door is I have a message from the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Schneerson. He perked up a little bit, and she said, Rabbi Schneerson told me to convey to you not to despair, to be strong. He said you will succeed. He asked that you continue your path of resolve, and you will receive God's blessing. Viktor Frankl lit up. He thanked her, and they continued the conversation. they later became friends. When she left, he made a call to Dr. Frank. He had never met him, in spite of the fact that Rabbi Biederman had been in Austria since the early 80s. And as a matter of fact, when he would send, he didn't recognize the name because when he would send his calendar, his Jewish calendar for the year, Dr. Frankel would respond annually with a gift. So he called Dr. Frankel. Dr. Frankel at this time, this is again 1995, this is 1995, but here's the story. Dr. Frankel Rabbi Biederman called Dr. Frankel and said, asked if he can come over. He introduced himself as Rabbi Biederman, the Rabbi of Chabad in Vienna. Dr. Frankel said, as you know, I'm aged. He was 90 years old at the time, and it's not easy for me to meet in person. So Dr. Biederman on the phone said, would you, may I ask you a question? You recognize the name Rabbi Schneerson. You wanted to verify the story. And Dr. Frankel said, of course I did. And he said in German, "Ich schulde ihm sehr viel." I owe him very, very much. Ich schätze dem Rebbe sehr. I value, I revere the Rebbe very much. Hat mir geholfen in einer sehr kritische Zeit in my Leben. A sehr kritische Moment. He helped me in some critical moments of my life. Let us all resolve. We will not despair. We will succeed. We will continue our path with resolve. We will be strong. And God bless us all. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today. I want to thank Rabbi Bucky Zealous and Chabad.org, who worked very tirelessly to make sure this event can happen every year. Thank you again for coming.
Well, that's it here in Highland Park, Illinois at Central Synagogue at this gathering for unity, for peace, for memorials, and let's hope that there's shalom ba'olam, peace in the world. Hope to see you next time. If you have any interest in emailing anybody here at this event, you just send it to us, info@tvrabbi.com, and we'll forward it. If you'd like to see former shows on the web of our show, tvrabbi.com is the website. And we hope to see you next time right here on Take with Rabbi Doug.
This has been a Taped with Rabbi Doug production.